Hey there everybody, Happy New Year. Great video today. A topic that I'm just so excited to share. I think it has so much to offer in terms of value for human consciousness as a whole. And what I'm going to talk about is basically multiplicity. Let's call it multiplicity within human consciousness. So the psyche is structured in a couple different ways. We have the persona, the socially structured aspect of our being that we are identified with. I am a person that likes to make others happy. I am a confident person. I am a loving person. Things you're conscious of. Okay? Next we have the things we're not conscious of. These are called repressed aspects of yourself. So I'm a couch potato. I'm a rebel. I'm a the things that I don't really want others to see of me, because as soon as I let them out, then I have to bring my managers out. The third part of the psyche. Managers can basically be the critic, the worrier, the boss, the part of the psyche that organizes itself in order to keep the persona or the personality safe and functioning at optimal level. They also have another role. They keep a little pocket of the psyche, where the exiled parts go, the exiled parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we checked out of during deep trauma or deeply scary experiences as children and deep into adulthood. Parts of our psyche there get splintered off and they get locked up in something called the shadow. And so the managers don't let these parts out. If they do, on accident, they misstep and an exiled part comes out. So let's say it's the party animal, the part of you that went a little too wild and maybe was a little too bad and had to be pushed far away into the psyche in order to avoid persecution. Okay, those exiled parts, when the managers do their job, can become demonic or very polarized in the system of the psyche. They can become very dysfunctional and imbalance the system as a whole. So when the threat to the system comes out and these little parts are trying to crawl out, an emergency firefighter part of the psyche kicks into play. These emergency firefighters basically see a huge problem. The exiled part has been released and it's their job to keep it at bay, so they'll pacify it. This could be addictions, overeating, extreme anger, whatever that addictive type of tendency is, to remove the part of you that it has been exiled. So when those emergency parts are working overtime, these parts become demonic. They begin to own their role as an exiled part. They own it and they decide to create imbalances on purpose. And this is where you get into huge issues when you start to polarize these parts of the self, capital S. Okay? When you start to polarize them. And what that means is that, for example, if you have a very negative part, a critic, that you're identifying with, it would cause an extreme amount of dysfunction in the system to suddenly go to a positive polarity or an overtly affirmative aspect of self, because then what does the critic have to do? The critic has to go into exile. And this could happen with any and all parts, because they all come in dualistic energies. You can't have one part without a sister part or a brother part. They arrive in two. And so when we start to explore the human psyche, which undoubtedly on this path we will, because it's a part of this journey of being human, of getting to know ourselves intimately in a way that we never thought we would get to know ourselves before. Okay? So when we start to get to know these different parts of us, and we start to listen to what they have to say, and sometimes they'll make demands, and sometimes they're harsh demands, unrealistic demands. Sometimes they're downright scary and frightening because of the time they've been put in exile. Think about it. If you've had a part of you that's been in exile for decades, the part of the psyche that left the body, splintered off and got stuck on a timeline somewhere in your childhood, it's been repressed for a very long period of time. It's been chilling in that shadow for a long, long time, right? So when it comes out, it's going to come out with a vengeance. And we have to be prepared for that when we start to do this kind of work. So if you're just kind of starting to look at the self, capital S, and all these different smaller parts, my suggestion would be to not try and do anything with these parts that are revealing themselves or becoming conscious, coming up into the light. Rather, just observe and listen to them. Give them a space to sing, to speak, to dance, to do what they need to do. Because that's the first step in kind of rebalancing the system. So, So this is really some of the coolest stuff I think that we could be getting into if we start paying attention. So that's what I wanted to say today, and I hope you're enjoying yourself wherever you are, and see you soon.